What really happened to Shelley Mook? In 2011, the young mother vanished after dropping off her daughter, leaving behind only her burned out car miles away. No body, no answers. The case grows stranger when examining her ex husband, Tyler Mook, who refused to cooperate with searches and invoked the Fifth Amendment over 150 times. What was he hiding? With no physical evidence and key witnesses unwilling to talk, Shelley's disappearance remains shrouded in mystery. Every clue leads to more questions, making this one of the most baffling missing persons cases of the decade. Where is Shelley Mook? Join me for another strange, odd, and mysterious ride here at Odd Mystery Stories. February 28, 2011 started as a normal Monday for Shelley Mook. She taught 8th grade reading at Harris Middle School in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, like she had many times before. But this day would end differently than any other. After school, between 3:30 and 4 p.m., she drove to her ex-husband Tyler Mook's home on Old Nashville Dirt Road in Shelbyville to drop off their 6-year-old daughter Lilli. This would be the last time anyone confirmed seeing Shelley alive. Her routine shattered like glass that afternoon. She'd arranged to meet a handyman at her new apartment at 4:30 p.m., taken time off of work to move, and even scheduled a substitute teacher through Wednesday. But the handyman waited in vain. When she didn't show up at the school the next morning, something she'd never done without notice, her principal immediately knew something was wrong. By 8:30 a.m. on March 1st, frantic calls from family and colleagues went unanswered. This wasn't the Shelley they knew, the devoted teacher who planned every detail, the mother who'd never abandoned Lilli. Her disappearance made no sense. The new apartment held clues to her state of mind. She'd been excited about moving closer to work, telling coworkers about her plans. That afternoon, she'd simply vanished between dropping off Lilli and her 4:30 appointment. No texts, no calls, no sightings. No surveillance footage showed her elsewhere. No phone records placed her in any other location. Her credit cards and cell phone went silent after that final drop-off. The substitute teacher was kept waiting in Shelley's classroom, unaware she'd never return. Witnesses described the growing dread in painful detail. The way that her empty parking lot at school seemed to scream her absence. How Lilli kept asking when Mommy would come back. This wasn't someone who'd chosen to disappear. This was a life interrupted mid-sentence. The questions came fast and furious. Did she leave Tyler's house? Was she intercepted before reaching her white Pontiac Grand Prix? The answers would point towards something far darker than anyone imagined. For now, picture that moment. A young mother walking back to her car after dropping off her daughter, then fading from existence. The mystery begins here. 2 days after Shelley Mook vanished, investigators found her white Pontiac Grand Prix in a field off Manchester Highway, an empty stage for a burning secret. The car was completely destroyed by fire, with forensic experts confirming arson through an accelerant use. This wasn't an accident. Someone wanted that car gone. More puzzling was what wasn't found. No human remains in the burned-out shell. Shelley wasn't inside it when it was set ablaze, or her body had been removed. The lack of remains deepened the mystery. If this was meant to hide evidence, what were they trying to destroy? The location raised immediate red flags. The field sat miles from Shelbyville, where Shelley was last seen. If she'd driven there herself, why such a remote spot? If someone else moved the car, how did they escape? Private investigator Kevin Keel later said it would have taken at least 2 people, one to drive to Pontiac and the other to provide a ride back. The fire consumed everything. Arson specialists pinpointed the origin and confirmed accelerant use, but without DNA or physical traces, they couldn't prove who did it. The destruction was methodical, too calculated for a random crime. Authorities searched the area but found nothing. No belongings, no tracks, no witnesses. This spot was chosen carefully, secluded enough to torch the vehicle unseen. Meanwhile, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation expanded their search. They combed fields, water sources, and a CSX train yard near Cowan. Cadaver dogs scoured Tyler Mook's property. Still, no trace of Shelley. The car's discovery only added questions. Why move and burn it? If hiding a murder, why not leave her inside? Panic or calculation? Without a body, prosecutors couldn't confirm cause of death or even definitively prove homicide, yet everything suggested foul play. The deliberate arson, the remote location, Shelley's abrupt mid-routine disappearance. Over a decade later, the car remains an obstacle. Normally, a victim's vehicle offers clues, fingerprints, camera sightings, struggle evidence, but Shelley's Pontiac was reduced to ash, taking its secrets with it. The disturbing theory remains. Someone didn't just make Shelley disappear. They tried to erase all proof of how it happened. The car should have been a breakthrough. Instead, it became another dead end, leaving investigators asking how a woman vanishes so completely, and who worked this hard to cover it up. From the moment Shelley Mook disappeared, investigators looked hard at one person, her ex-husband, Tyler Mook. Their relationship was troubled long before she vanished. Friends described Tyler's, quote, mysterious dark way, and court records showed a pattern of physical and verbal abuse during their marriage. Witnesses testified he pushed, grabbed, and controlled Shelley, behavior that continued even after their 2009 divorce during their bitter custody battles over daughter Lilli. Shelley once filed an order of protection, fearing Tyler but fighting to protect her child. By February of 2011, their custody dispute had reached a critical point, with a decisive court hearing scheduled for March 3rd, just 3 days after Shelley vanished. Tyler's behavior after Shelley's disappearance raised immediate red flags. Unlike most family members of missing persons, he refused to join search efforts, claiming Shelley was already dead, yet showing no grief. His accounts to police kept shifting, first denying he'd seen her that day, then claiming he'd had sex with her before she left. He couldn't even keep a straight story whether Shelley entered his house when dropping off Lilli. Detectives noted every discrepancy, especially when Tyler blocked a thorough search of his home. Court documents revealed deeper concerns. Multiple witnesses described Tyler's history of drug trafficking, explosive anger, and intimidation tactics. One friend recalled Shelley often looking scared when speaking about him. The timing of her disappearance was suspicious, days before a hearing where witnesses planned to testify about Tyler's violence and drug use, potentially costing him custody. After Shelley vanished, the hearing was postponed indefinitely. If Tyler was involved, he had a motive, opportunity, and means. Their custody battle gave him reason. His violent history suggested capability. They were among the last to see her alive. Yet without Shelley's body, or definitive proof, investigators can only build a circumstantial case. Innocent people don't change stories repeatedly or refuse to search for their child's missing parent. The deeper you examine Tyler's behavior, his abuse history, the custody fight, his suspicious reactions, the clearer the picture becomes. Whether he acted alone remains unknown, but if he was innocent, he did everything possible to appear guilty. During the custody battle for his daughter Lilli, Tyler Mook made a legal choice that stuck out like a flashing red light to the investigators. He invoked his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination over 150 times during the hearings, an unprecedented number for a custody case. Each refusal built an eerie silence around him, like a fortress with every gate sealed shut. The Fifth Amendment protects against self-incrimination, but Tyler's extreme use of it raised alarms. He wouldn't answer basic questions. Did Shelley visit his home the day that she vanished? Had he been physically abusive? These weren't minor details. They were critical to finding Shelley. His silence, where answers mattered most, spoke volumes. One question Tyler did answer stood out. When asked if he'd had sex with Shelley on February 28th, the day she disappeared, he said yes. But the moment they asked about timing, he invoked the fifth again. This selective admission created more questions than answers. His statements to police were equally inconsistent. First, he'd claimed he hadn't seen Shelley at all that day. Then he changed his story, saying they'd had sex before she left. If Shelley never left his property alive, the investigation's entire timeline collapses. But without straight answers, the truth remained out of reach. Legally, refusing to testify can't prove guilt. But when a woman vanishes and her ex-husband won't answer simple questions 150 times, people notice. The judge certainly did. Family court awarded custody to Shelley's parents, influenced heavily by Tyler's refusal to cooperate. Consider this. If you're innocent, why plead the fifth to questions like, did Shelley come inside? Or, were you two getting along? These aren't traps, they're basic facts. Tyler's refusal to confirm even the simplest details about Shelley's final hours revealed how little he wanted investigators to know. The sheer volume of his Fifth Amendment invocations became its own evidence. One or two might be understandable, but 150? That's a pattern of avoidance so extreme it suggests that nearly every question about Shelley's disappearance leads somewhere damning. Most parents would endure uncomfortable questions to keep their child. Tyler chose silence over his daughter, a decision that cost him parental rights. The judge noted his behavior and raised concerns about whether he could provide a safe home. While the Fifth Amendment protects rights, Tyler's use of it created a paper trail of resistance. Every refusal went into court records, documenting his unwillingness to help find Shelley. This isn't about legality. It's about what his choices revealed. When someone disappears after being at your home and you won't say what happened, the silence paints its own picture. The custody hearings should have been all about Lilli's future. Instead, they became a stage for Tyler's damning silence, 150 times repeated.
How did you and Shelley get along after the divorce?
We had our ups and downs.
What does that mean?
A few arguments here and there.
What were the arguments over?
On advice of counsel, I respectfully decline on the grounds of the Fifth Amendment.
Dated anyone since the divorce?
No, sir.
You went on a cruise during the winter of 2009-2010.
Yes, sir.
You did meet a woman from Chicago?
Yes.
Did you see this woman after the cruise?
Yes.
What's her name?
On advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer on the grounds of the Fifth Amendment.
Did Shelley come to your residence with Lilli?
On advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer on the grounds of the Fifth Amendment.
Did you have sex with Shelley on February 28th?
Yes.
What time?
On advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer on the grounds of the Fifth Amendment.
Did you keep Lilli, on the night of February 28th?
Yes, sir.
And what time did you get her?
On what day, sir?
February 28th.
Between 2 and 3:30 p.m.
What makes you so sure about that time frame?
Because she was coming home from work.
Who was?
Shelley.
What did you and Lilli do that day?
We ate dinner.
What time?
I can't remember that far back, sir.
What time did you generally feed her?
All depends. If we're doing something outside, it could be as early as 5 and as late as 8 p.m.
One of the most compelling pieces of evidence in the Shelley Mook case came from an unexpected conversation that changed the investigation. 2 days after Shelley disappeared, Tyler Mook's phone accidentally dialed 911, recording 22 minutes of his private talk with his father while working in the garage. The garbled recording captured Tyler telling his father, quote, "They know that I'm not going anywhere right now because I don't have Lilli." This raised immediate questions. Why would an innocent man assume police thought he might flee? Then came the most revealing comment, quote, "Something keeps bothering me about that car, and they're going to try to bust me with that." Shelley's burned vehicle had only been discovered that same day, yet Tyler was already worried about it being traced back to him.
Hello?
I think it's just not Debbie. I think it's the lawyer, the girl, Debbie, the judge, the DA, and both of 2 or 3 county sheriffs in the TBI. And they know that I'm not going anywhere right now because I don't have Lilli. They can't prove nothing. And they know that there's a better chance of me leaving with Lilli. But, like I told Mom, they know I want to stay in the United States. They can find me. I can live out in Hawaii, I told Mom. They want to come arrest me, we don't want to. What's the big crunch time in this 5 months? Just easier for them. Yeah, that's all. They've done their job. They trampled all over your rights. They did everything humanly possible. The situation as it was. Many here, okay, that's your fun, boys. Somebody will pay for this. I already got a bunch of people lined up. I keep hearing through the grits line through Jason and Renee, Mom, oh, they got people seeing me leave that night. Oh, they seen Shelley's car going down the road that night. She wasn't driving. Oh, somebody seen me walking down the road in the middle of the night. Let's get a couple more of those people by running the tape and racetrack. And they can come up with their own story.
After the call disconnected, Tyler did something telling. He immediately called 911 back to ask if his earlier call had been recorded.
Did you get a call from this number here a couple minutes ago?
Yes, we had an open line from it.
What happens on that open line? Does it get recorded and stuff like that?
An innocent person wouldn't think twice, but Tyler clearly feared what authorities might have overheard. This was no police interrogation where Tyler could carefully choose his words. It was a private conversation where his guard slipped, exposing his real-time concerns about the investigation. Forensic analysis confirmed the call lasted 22 minutes. While pleading the fifth in court, here he casually discussed investigative details with his father. His focus wasn't on Shelley's whereabouts, but how the case might affect him. Classic guilty behavior. The call didn't prove exactly what happened, but it exposed Tyler's unfiltered mindset. Sometimes it's these unplanned moments that reveal the most, cutting through carefully constructed stories when someone believes no one is listening. The most devastating testimony in Shelley Mook's disappearance came from her 6-year-old daughter, Lilli. Picture a first grader standing in court, describing how her father, Tyler, wanted her to participate in burning down her grandmother's home by giving her matches to start the fire under the bed. Most children that age talk about playground games, not being used as tools in arson plots. Lilli's account wasn't vague or fantastical. She recalled specific details, the location under the bed, the matches Tyler provided, suggesting she'd heard these plans discussed repeatedly. The timing was equally alarming. These conversations happened after Shelley vanished, but before Lilli was removed from Tyler's custody. While most parents shield their children from trauma, Tyler dragged his daughter into discussions about harming her surviving family. Judge Lee Russell terminated Tyler's parental rights based largely on this testimony. Courts don't separate children from biological parents lightly. For Lilli's words to carry that weight reveals how chilling they were. Not just the content, but the fact that they came from a child who clearly understood what was being asked of her. The testimony also implicated Tyler's mother, Kim, who allegedly participated in these discussions. Multiple adults normalizing violence around a child paints a disturbing family dynamic. But the true horror lies in the psychological cruelty. Shelley's mother, Deborah, had fought to protect Lilli after her daughter vanished. Now the alleged arson plot weaponized the very child Deborah was trying to shield. Lilli's account gave investigators a rare window into Tyler's mindset. While he invoked the Fifth Amendment in court, his daughter described someone willing to involve a child in violent acts. The contrast was stark. Legal caution in public, alleged brutality in private. After the hearing, Lilli moved permanently with Deborah to Pennsylvania. Imagine carrying that burden, losing your mother, testifying against your father, and then starting over. Yet, by all accounts, she's thrived. Now a young adult, she'll be fully grown when Tyler completes his prison sentence for an unrelated violent crime. Her testimony remains one of the case's most heartbreaking elements, not just for revealing Tyler's post-disappearance behavior, but for proving a child could recognize darkness, even when it wore her father's face. These weren't coached words, but a frightened girl describing things no child should witness. The court validated Lilli's credibility, but questions linger. If a 6-year-old saw through Tyler so clearly, what else happened that never came to light? Between her testimony, the burned car, and Tyler's later violence, the patterns point to dangerous dynamics, with Shelley and Lilli caught in the middle. Years later, Lilli lives with another burden. Her words protected her, but couldn't answer what truly happened to her mother. No child should bear that weight. Yet in that courtroom, she showed more clarity and courage than most adults, revealing Tyler's character in ways no legal maneuver ever could. Years after Shelley Mook vanished, Tyler Mook proved his capacity for extreme violence wasn't limited to his ex-wife's case. In 2015, while living in Florida, he took his then-girlfriend, Robin Doneth, out on his speedboat along the Intracoastal Waterway. When Robin expressed concern about Tyler speeding in a go-slow zone, he stopped the boat, threw her overboard, and jumped in after her. Witnesses described him holding her underwater in what prosecutors argued was an attempted murder. Robin Doneth recalled fighting for her life as Tyler dunked her repeatedly, showing no regard for whether she survived. The attack only ended when Tyler's brother Andrew intervened, putting Tyler in a chokehold after hearing him say, quote, "No one disrespects me in front of my family, I'll kill her." This chilling statement mirrored behavior witnesses had described in Tennessee. Tyler's hair-trigger temper and need to control through violence. The Florida trial proved crucial despite legal limitations. Prosecutors couldn't mention Tyler being a person of interest in Shelley's disappearance. Andrew's testimony secured a conviction for attempted second-degree murder, earning Tyler a 12-year sentence. The parallels between his treatment of Robin and Shelley were undeniable. Sudden rage over minor slights, physical aggression, and attempts to assert dominance. Shelley's friends had described similar violence during their marriage. Now, there was irrefutable proof Tyler hadn't changed. The timing raised questions. Tyler attacked Robin while still under scrutiny in Tennessee, where investigators considered him a prime suspect in Shelley's case. His anger in both instances stemmed from perceived disrespect. With Shelley, it was her attempts to leave. With Robin, it was criticizing his speeding. Andrew's cooperation was telling. Family members rarely testify against each other unless the evidence is overwhelming. That Andrew intervened and aided prosecutors spoke volumes. Tyler's violence wasn't an isolated outburst. It was part of who he was. The 12-year sentence provided concrete evidence of Tyler's capacity for lethal violence. In Tennessee, investigators had relied on circumstantial evidence. Now, there was a documented conviction showing exactly what he was capable of. The similarities between his treatment of Shelley and Robin were too stark to dismiss. For Shelley's family, The Florida case was a painful validation. Tyler attacked Robin before completing his sentence in an unrelated Tennessee drug case. Proof he hadn't reformed. His methodical actions, throwing Robin overboard, taking her phone, and then trying to drown her, showed planning, not impulse. If he could attempt murder in broad daylight with witnesses present, what might he have done to Shelley when no one was watching? The Florida conviction erased any doubt about Tyler's capacity to kill. The question was never again about ability, only about opportunity and evidence. His violence wasn't confined to one moment or one victim. It was a defining trait, proven beyond any reasonable doubt. Over a decade after Shelley Mook vanished, the case remains chillingly unresolved. Without her body or a definitive crime scene, investigators faced constant roadblocks. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation still classifies it as an active case, urging anyone with information to come forward. Most investigators believe Tyler Mook was involved, though proving it remains impossible without physical evidence. The methodical burning of Shelley's car suggests careful planning, not a spontaneous act. Private investigator Kevin Keel, hired by Shelley's family, points to Tyler's accidental 911 call, where he worried about the burned car being traced to him, a detail that implies first-hand knowledge. One baffling clue involves surveillance footage from a Shelbyville convenience store, reportedly showing Tyler's red S10 truck stopping at a dumpster for 5 to 10 minutes the morning after Shelley disappeared. Authorities have never released this footage, leaving its significance to speculation, like ghosts in the machine. These withheld fragments haunt the investigation, invisible enough to raise questions, but never clear enough to confirm. The lack of an in-depth police interview with Tyler remains puzzling. Shelbyville PD never conducted a thorough interrogation, and Tyler invoked his Fifth Amendment rights whenever questioned. His silence denies investigators even a baseline statement to compare against evidence. Key questions linger. If Tyler acted alone, how did he transport Shelley's body after burning her car? The rural location suggests he needed help. Then there's the timing. Shelley vanished days before a custody hearing where she planned to limit Tyler's access to their daughter. Coincidence seems unlikely, but without direct evidence, it's just another unproven theory. Lilli, now grown, testified about disturbing conversations between Tyler and his mother regarding burning Deborah Sikora's house. If those threats were real, what else might he have done? Tyler's Florida conviction proves he's capable of extreme violence, yet he's never slipped up about Shelley's disappearance. The attempted murder conviction shows recklessness, but Shelley's case suggests meticulous planning. One theory posits her remains were hidden where authorities wouldn't look, underwater, or in an already searched area. The car's location, burned in a field hours from where she vanished, offers no trail between the points. The case remains officially open, keeping files confidential. Investigators may be waiting for Tyler to make a mistake or for someone to come forward. Until then, the truth hides in plain sight, pointing clearly in one direction, but never reaching a provable conclusion. Shelley Mook's case is one of those stories that refuses to rest. A young mother drops off her daughter, drives away, and is never seen again. Her car is found burned miles away. No sign of a struggle, no body, no clear trail, just smoke, ash, and silence. But silence doesn't mean no one knows. Tyler Mook, her ex-husband, has long been under suspicion, and though he's now serving time for a different crime, he's never been charged in Shelley's case. That alone raises questions. Was justice ever really pursued, or did someone deliberately bury the truth? Was Shelley planning something someone didn't want her to do? Did she meet with someone she trusted that day? Or was her fate sealed the moment she pulled away from that driveway? And what about the burned car? Was it a warning, a cover-up, or just a desperate attempt to erase the evidence? More than a decade later, her daughter Lilli is growing up without a mother, and a family is still stuck in limbo, forced to relive the same pain year after year. If you know something, no matter how minor it might seem, please contact the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation at 1-800-TBI-FIND. The smallest detail could break open everything. But I'm curious, what do you think happened to Shelley Mook? Do you believe someone close to her was involved? Or is there something even deeper going on that's never come to light? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. Because Shelley's story isn't just a cold case, it's a chilling reminder that someone, somewhere, is still keeping a secret. Hey, thanks for sticking with me through another mystery. My name is Vince. If you enjoyed this story and want to help keep the channel going, consider buying me a coffee or joining the Patreon crew. Even a few bucks goes a long way towards uncovering more strange and unsolved cases. Patreon members get special recognition for subscribing. Some even see the research notes on what's coming next, and even more, help pick the next case. You'll find the links in the description. Thanks again for watching. Stay curious, stay safe. Thank you.